Hey, you're on the Hangout Live. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Maybe you're not on the Hangout Live. Looks like we're on Chips, and maybe we got Ponch's sidekick, John Baker, here. What's going on, John?
Do you have any idea how fast you were going?
I'm not sure. I think I was kind of cruising a little slow. Not really sure.
How about 69?
That's my favorite speed. Come on.
Yes, yes. What's going on, brother? It's
Oh,
actually me, Trick.
Oh, it is you. Okay, back to the Hangout
the hairless
Live.
Wonder, right? The Hairless Wonder. All right, the Hangout Live, man. We've got a great show tonight. We've got Greg Smith joining us tonight. First, let's give a big shout out to our sponsors, of course, Twitch and the Rams Network, Rock Against Muscular Sclerosis. Make sure that you help change a life today and increase their happiness and quality of life today by donating to the show. Hey, Gag. Oh, Gag. No, yeah, I ride, Darren. Of course I ride, brother. So they're all piping in already. We love you guys for joining us. We got Backbeat Music as one of our sponsors. We love them. Alexandra and the team over there are doing great. And Jody Gentry at Media Jaw is always behind us.
And we've got dope panels as well. We've got dope panels in here, and we've also got blue collar cables.
Blue collar, baby. Blue collar.
High quality cables for your studios, for your live, all the bit, everything.
That's the way to do it, buddy. All right, so man, I think we got a long week ahead of us. I'm leaving this weekend up to Oregon, and hopefully I'll be back by Tuesday.
Hopefully,
or you might have to run things on yourself, bro.
Yeah, but I don't run them on this end, so I guess you'll be doing it from an airplane or something.
From an airplane, maybe. All right, so let's not waste any more time. This man has played with Ted Nugent, Alice Cooper, Rainbow, Billy Joel,
Wendy
Wayne's World. Yeah. We're talking about Mr. Greg Smith. How you doing, brother?
What's up, guys?
Yeah. Excellent, Smithers.
Excellent.
So, Greg, your background is killing us, bro. It's kicking our asses over here, man.
Wow. Well, I'm happy to hear that, man. I'm just a working stiff like everybody else, man.
That's it, brother. That's it. So he comes up and upstages us right away, Robby. I dig that about this guy already. All right, man. Welcome to the show. We appreciate you for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Greg, you have had a storied career, and but I think we need to kick it all the way back to 1973.
73.
Well, wink, wink.
Wait, are you talking about when I was 10 years old and saw David Cassidy?
See, I was trying not to make you 63, in the year. I was trying to put you with me and be respectful, but yes, May 21st, 1963. Greg Smith comes barreling into the world. Did you come out with the bass in your hands?
Oh man, you know what? No, to be honest with you, it was kind of weird how it all started. I mean, it started probably in the back of my dad's 1960 Ford Falcon.
Nice
AM radio in the 60s. You know what I mean? It was just whatever was going, like Paul Revere and the Raiders, the fucking Turtles. I mean, the Beatles. I mean, anything that was on the radio, man. It's just it went into my brain, and I didn't know that I wanted to play music at the time, but I was just really into what was going on. And then my sister really got into music, and well, let me just go back like 73, like you said. Growing up in Long Island, I was a huge New York Mets fan, and I was going to be a baseball player, man. That was it. I was going to be a rich baseball player, So I remember 73, the New York Mets were in the World Series with the Oakland A's. It was the A's. It was the A's, right? The guys with all the mustaches. It was Catfish Hunter and all the
Right.
And they lost. And let me tell you, man, I was so disappointed. I was done with baseball. But later on that year, my mom and dad took me and my sister to see David Cassidy at the Nassau Coliseum. And all I heard was girls screaming. And I went, that's a cool job.
Right.
Hell yeah.
That on top of stealing my neighbor good friend of mine, he had an older brother. We used to steal his older brother's albums. That, on top of listening to Deep Purple Machine Head, that was it, man. I
Yeah.
had to play music, and there was no ifs, ands, or buts. It was just, I didn't want to just listen to this shit. I had to be able to play it, I had to be part of it, so, and then it went a little deeper where my birthday's in May. My sister's in April. She got a guitar for her birthday, and she said, let's start a band. You can play bass. I went, okay, what's bass? Next month, I got bass for my birthday, and I went, how come it only has 4 strings?
It's broken. Mine's broken.
God's honest truth. She quit after 3 weeks. By some strange quirk of fate, I picked it up really quickly. And within 3 months, I was playing in a band. Within 4 months, I was playing my first gig at a nursing home in Long Island. Like, crapping myself going, like crapping myself in front of people who are actually crapping themselves.
Right.
Dude, that kicks ass. So bass from the beginning. Did you fall in love with it instantly?
Well, yeah, because like I picked it up quickly. Like if my sister would have said piano or drums or anything else, I may not have picked it up quickly, but I picked it up by some strange quirk of fate, and that just kept me going and kept me wanting to do it more and more, and so yeah.
Now, what was that very first bass, and what was your first bass amp?
A Yamaha.
Yamaha
115. I can't remember the model number, but it was like a little toggle switch, 4 knobs. Actually, a buddy of mine who lives in my neighborhood still has the amp.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And the bass itself, the bass
was a it was a Japanese. It was a copy of a Telecaster. It actually looked like a Telecaster guitar, but it was a bass. It was a company called Nashville.
Oh, okay.
And it sounded like dog shit, obviously, And
so you don't have that bass anymore.
My little brother still has it. He's out in LA.
Nice.
He still has it. Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool.
I think I probably smashed it against the wall, listening to the Who in the 70s or something at some point.
Right.
So Blair Abernathy wants to know, how many bass guitars do you own currently?
Oh wow, there's probably about, on this wall, there's got to be about 15. I'd say maybe about 25, maybe about 25, something like that. But honestly, there's really only like 2 or 3 that I play all the time.
Yeah, sounds about right. So when you moved on from nursing homes, then what happened? Where did you step up to after that?
Oh man, we went right directly to like American Legion halls.
I've played those. I've done that.
Like, that's the step up, baby.
Yeah.
PFW, American Legion.
That's funny.
And then I grew up in Long Island, and late 70s and early 80s, it was an amazing club scene there. So I played, opening for bands like Twisted Sister and Zebra, and
Oh hell yeah.
Really close with those guys, and I remember sneaking into bars to see them, when I was like, 15, 16 years old. And I mean, those guys were like legit rock stars, in the 70s. They were playing to like 2,000 people in clubs back then. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it was pretty intense, But yeah, I ended up playing those same clubs and opening up for them and becoming good friends with them. And it was a pretty crazy scene back then, man. It was really, drinking age was 18. So,
right.
There was a lot of people going out every night of the week. Every band had their own PA system and truck and lighting system. And, it was, we were all our own little rock stars in our own little kingdom at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
But,
Super cool.
it taught me a lot about and being prepared and putting on a proper show and all that. You know what I mean? So good place to grow up at the time.
Hell yeah. Question out there right now is, what was the first rock concert you saw?
Well, aside from David Cassidy?
Yes.
Rock right?
I would have to it was Peter Frampton at Madison Square Garden. Yep. And I think that was like 76, I think. you know.
Wow.
And then the real big one was obviously '78, Black Sabbath with Van Halen open out, you know.
Oh wow.
I saw
No
them
way.
Wow.
only at the Garden, but I saw them at Nassau Coliseum as well, which was
Mm.
pretty badass. I remember when I got my ticket that I paid $7.50 for. You know, it was a green ticket,
Wow.
and it said Black Sabbath special guest Van Halen, and I went, "What the hell's a Van Halen? What's that, like some old German guy?" You know, I didn't know who Van Halen was, but you know,
Right.
you can the next day I rode my bicycle to the shopping mall and picked up the album. You know what I mean? So. And then, of course,
Nice.
absolutely blown away, like everybody else was. You know.
Right.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. So
It,
you get a. Go ahead, Robbie.
I was going to say it's funny because my first concert was Ted Nugent in Kiss.
No kidding. Very cool.
Yeah, 1976. Yep.
Yep. Very cool,
Yep.
man. And you know what's funny about
Yeah.
Ted? You could probably tell Ted something about that exact date. He'll remember something about it.
Oh,
He's
really?
crazy. Yeah, he's crazy like that. You know.
Tempe Diablo Stadium.
Wow.
Yep. Yep. I
Very
remember it. It was like, boy, that was something else. That was yeah, it was pretty intense for a little kid to go. I got right to the front, grabbed onto the fence, and just hung on there and stayed there
Yeah.
for through the whole thing, just like, you know. And I was
And
a little guy.
I'll bet Ted Zamps had your hair blowing back, right?
Oh yeah, I saw Ted at Cal Jam too. Also,
Wow, man.
I
Badass.
snuck inside stage with two other kids. There were a bunch of little kids snuck in, and when Ted came on, it was just like,
Yeah,
I mean, he
man.
came. From my recollection, he came flying off of the amps. I don't know if it was off the amps or what it was, but he was like this larger than life character flying through the air, cape behind him. Well, there's no cape, but I mean, he should have had one. It was like, wow, you know.
Yeah. Well, he used to do a lot of jumping off amplifiers and drum risers, which is why he had to have his knees replaced. It was really hot back then, man. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
Right?
those stacks were pretty damn high. He didn't give a shit, man. You know, he just jumped right off them, you know. So actually, when I first joined the band, his knees were still pretty good, but like after about 5 years in the band, he started to have like a lot of pain in his knee, you know. And he just never wanted to get them done, man. And like it was kind of hard to see him after a show, seeing the pain in his face, and you know. Eventually he got them done and he's fine now, thank God. But you know, man, it was, you know, coming off the stage. I mean, he gives it all on stage. You don't give a crap about pain, but afterwards he's sitting in a chair, man. I could see him shaking with pain, and it was kind of hard to watch, you know.
Oh wow.
Wow. Wow. I can't imagine Robbie doing anything like that, Cora says.
Right.
All right. So a lot of people saw the same concert you did. Of course, the Black Sabbath, Van Halen. So when you first saw Van Halen on the stage, did you automatically know that this is legit? This is going the distance?
I just about shit myself, man. I was blown away because nobody sounded like that, man. You know what I mean? Now I was a Black Sabbath nut, being a bass player, and Geezer Butler, man. I wanted to be Geezer Butler at that, you know, at that age, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
And,
Right.
and then watching that band and watching Eddie and Dave, I mean, nobody sounded or looked like that at that point, and I was just floored, man. I was just floored, like everybody else was, man. You know what I mean? It was really intense, man. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
How cool is that, man? Before it all became what it was, you were there
Yeah.
and part of that. That's
I mean,
incredible.
they were young and hungry, and you know, absolutely at the top of their game, man. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Black Sabbath, Geezer Butler, I mean, nobody, and no disrespect to our guest tonight, could hit a bass like that, man. I mean, he drove it. He drove it.
That I'll tell you, he's a huge influence on me, and that's one of the reasons why. And it's funny, you can ask any bass player anybody who knows me, who's a bass player out there, whoever picks up my instruments, they probably tell right away that I'm a Geezer Butler fan because, you know, my action's really high, you know, because I hit it hard, you know, and
Right.
you need room for that string to vibrate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just choke against the neck, and you're not going to get that sound, you know. So yeah, that's watching Geezer, man, watching that right hand just slam, you know, and that was the influence on me, man. You know, that's why I hit so freaking hard.
Aha.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you get your first break being invited by Gene Simmons to join touring band with featuring Wendy O. Williams.
Yep.
That was 1984, correct?
Yep.
80.
How does that come around, brother? I mean, were you jamming in a band up until then, a high school band? What prompted Gene to reach out to you?
Well, you know, like I mentioned, I'd been playing all these bands on Long Island. You know,
Right.
and I quit a cover band in '82 and joined an original band. You know, because obviously, you know, playing in cover bands, you're not going to get the riches. And of course, you know, by the time I was 22, I thought I'm going to be in a band. I'm going to make millions of dollars by the time I'm 22. You know,
Right.
and the only way to do that is playing an original band. So I was playing an original band called Squadron, and we were playing at a place in Long Island called My Father's Place, and it was a place that national acts would come in, and you know, they would let like local original bands come in and play, and we used to play there, you know, once, twice a month with a band called Squadron, and Eric Carr used to come see us, you know, and he liked the band. Now Eric, at the time, Creatures of the Night was being recorded, Kiss, you know, and
Right.
I guess whatever issues they were having with, you know, Ace and everything like that, they were looking to get somebody to play on the album because Ace, I guess, wasn't available, or I don't know all the politics or BS behind it. All I know is that they were coming after this guy Michael Ray that I was playing with, and ended up doing a couple tracks on the album. Anyway, fast forward, it ended up producing Wendy's album, and he liked me and Mike together. He liked the way we played together, and blah blah blah. He put us both in Wendy O's band, or touring band, and you know, that was the first my first foray into, like, you know, any kind of touring, which was a lot of fun. I mean, but of course,
yeah, I was gonna ask what that was like. What was that? That was
Well,
probably pretty.
We had a 1984, you know, that we all took turns driving. You know,
Hell yeah.
of course, you gotta understand, in 1984, that was a brand new car.
Right.
But
Hell
it was,
yeah.
but it was a blast, man. I wouldn't have traded that experience for the world, man. It was just you know, I had probably every Denny's between here and California, and you know, got sick at half of them. You know,
Right.
and you know, that's why I have a good immune system now. You know.
Nice, brother. Yeah, well, you know, a little food poisoning goes a long way.
Absolutely, man.
So people going nuts. So we try to keep this in rotation, but everybody in the feed is asking about Motorfest, Tokyo Motorfest.
Uh-huh.
So we'll answer a few and then we'll backtrack a little bit. We normally like to stay in line, but because we're getting so many of them. Jennifer Berner wants to know what brought you to Tokyo Motorfest. What created that whole dynamic for the band?
Well, I think ultimately, I think Steve Brown got, you know, approached by, you know, Frontiers to do, you know, an album or something like that, and he decided that he wanted to do with me and of course Ted Poley and Chuck, because we'd all been friends, and as far as I know, I think that's the way it went. At least that's the way it was presented to me. You know, Steve was like, "Hey man, would you like to do this album?" Initially, it was supposed to just be an album, you know.
Right.
And it was like, you know, if it runs into anything else, that'd be great. You know, maybe we get a gig or two out of it. But it ended up that we did some stuff over in the UK, and then Monsters of Rock, and then some other stuff, and then of course we had some really good offers, and then the world exploded with COVID. You know,
Right.
you know, we were go to Japan, and we had some other stuff going on, another little run in Europe, and you know, and then everything stopped. But we do have something coming up this June down in Atlanta, which is going to be fun. You know, get back with the guys again and play and do some tracks from the new album. You know.
Cool.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. So let's go back to playing with Ted and being so. Ted is such an iconic human being, obviously, with especially in my demographic being in Texas.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, he uses our studios in Waco to do a lot of his work,
Right.
and we're fortunate enough that way. But there you are with the madman
Yeah.
himself right there.
My
Let-
57 P bass. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about life on the road with Ted. You said he remembers a lot from the shows that you guys have played in the past, or
Yeah.
that he is. I've heard that about Ted a lot. Ted keeps his mind pretty straight, and
Yeah, he does.
yeah,
You
he
know,
can remember a lot of stuff.
I mean, I've been in the band 15 years now, I believe. This might be going on my 16th year even, and yeah, man, he's yeah, he's never been one for the drugs or alcohol or anything like that, as you guys,
Right.
well know. I'll tell you that, Um,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, in the all the time I've been in the band, I've only seen him even drink alcohol like a couple of times, and that was one time I remember we were all at a strip club across the street from the hotel on a day off, the band and crew, and he comes in and he goes, "Hey guys, good to see all the band and crew hanging out together. Give me one of them there Coronas." And he had like 2 sips out of it, and that was another time. We were in California, and there was this really good wine backstage. I can't remember what
Right.
it was, but it was really good California cab, And Derek St. Holmes was in the band at the time, and he liked California cabs as well. So we're both in there. I'm like, "Oh, Derek, man, look at that. That's a nice one." And Ted's like, "Yeah." He goes, "We should have some of that shit right now." It was before we went on. I was like, "Okay, cool." I pop it, I pour 3 glasses, I'm like doing the wine snob shit, and Derek's doing the wine snob shit. Ted comes over and goes, "Wham!" I go, "Well, those are drink wine, but who's going to tell you no?"
Right. You're Ted Nugent. You get however you want to, brother.
So I mean, he's not, alcohol, drugs. That's never been his thing, man.
No. Jennifer Berner says, "What's your favorite type of wine to drink, Greg?"
Probably California cabs. Yeah,
Nice,
something
brother.
deep and rich.
Right? Blair Abernathy wants to know if you have a favorite Ted Nugent song you like to play.
Oh man, Queen of the Forest is a lot of fun. Especially like when Derek was in the band, and he was singing it, man. Stormtrooping's a lot of fun. Snakeskin Cowboys. I mean, there's a lot of them, man. You know what I mean? It's kind
All
of
of
fun
them.
when people ask you like favorites.
Hmm.
There's different. So I love playing all of them, but for different reasons. So I can't
Absolutely.
say there's like any favorites, man. That's kind of a tough question.
Yeah.
Of course,
I,
any song there's a bass solo.
Yeah, that one.
right? Stranglehold's got to be fun, I'm sure.
That's a lot of fun, yeah. Because I sing double with Ted, which is kind of cool, and then there's a little bass solo section in there, and you got to have that old right here. Here we go. We got to have the MXR Phase 90.
Nice.
That's the one, huh?
I got mine here too.
Wait. Let's see if Robby can pull it off. Searching.
MXR Phase 90. Woo!
Right.
These are legit. You gotta unscrew them from the back, and it's like a weapon. It's heavy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. Yep.
Nice, brother. Nice. All right. So, Robby, I put Robby on a stage quite a few times with Jack Russell's Great White, and we've got a show we're going to do again this year in Texas.
Awesome.
Bend an ear, my brother, because I would love to put you guys on a stage.
Oh yeah, man.
We played a show together. We didn't get a chance to meet, but it was in Kansas, and it was you guys headlining, Blue Oyster Cult and us opening the show.
Okay.
20,000 people there. It was a rocking event. Kansas somewhere. But then I met Jason after that. Shortly after that, I met Jason. We did a jam together. Jason Hartless. We did the Montrose jam together.
Oh, out in LA. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Now,
So
I don't know if you know, I played with BOC for a summer as well.
When was that?
1995. It was right after I recorded the Rainbow album, and Chuck Berge was playing with Blue Oyster Cult, and they needed a bass player for the summer, and it was prior to the Rainbow Tour, and I did a 2-week run with Alice Cooper in South America. So '95 was a busy year for me. You know?
Sounds like it.
But yeah, and of course I grew up a big Blue Oyster Cult fan as well, and so yeah, it was a pleasure to play with them. And that was, now here's a funny story about that. My first gig with them was as a Pine Knob, which is, they call it DTE now, but back then in Detroit, old school Pine Knob, big shed. I had like 10 days notice before playing with them. Did one rehearsal, so I'm doing backgrounds and I'm playing the song. So I had some cheat sheets, and I had them laid out. The guitar tech was supposed to tape them down, never taped them down. Big wind came, off they went.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that was no stress at all.
No.
Have no idea what I'm doing.
Well,
Just
clearly nobody was doing, but that would be a little scary.
When in doubt, do the Gene Simmons.
Right?
I can't imagine how difficult it is to learn a catalog that quickly.
It was kind of stressful, but you know what? I'm always open for a challenge. You know what I mean? So, if my shit didn't get blown away, I got through it no problem anyway, and nobody, there was no mistakes. But still, it was, my tech. He went and got my charts, and he put them back in. But of course, they were all and I was like, okay, there's half of that song, and the other half's that way, and then the lyrics for this one.
Right.
So.
I
somehow got through it though,
Did you play the LA scene coming up at all? Did you get out there on Sunset and all that fun stuff?
Well, when I was with Wendy and we played out there, I of course the first thing us New Yorkers wanted to do is go, let's go check out the fucking LA scene, So,
New York.
See what they're doing out there, So, of course, I lost my New York accent now. I lost it in a poker game a while back. But we went out and checked it out, and it was amazing, man. It was nothing but beautiful girls and nothing but rock and roll and rock clubs and the Rainbow, and it was amazing, And then, of course, obviously, when I got into Alice's band, I was out there for, I don't even know how long it was. By the time I got in the band, and then we did rehearsals, production rehearsals, a month or more, and I had an apartment on right on Hollywood Boulevard, and man, the Strip was right there. I would just go out to the Strip all the time, So yeah, I got to experience a good amount of that, and it was a whole lot of fun,
Hell yeah. So they're saying out of all the clubs, before you made it to the big stages, the clubs in the smaller towns, did you have any favorites on the East Coast?
Well, yeah, of course, man. Obviously, Lemoore, in Brooklyn, and in the one in Queens as well. Matter of fact, I met my wife at Lemoore, Queens, in 1983.
Nice.
Yeah, celebrate our 29th anniversary.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you. Hammerjacks, of course.
Hammerjacks.
Yeah,
it's a Hammerjack shirt.
Oh, awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that, brother. Yeah. We used to, even being from Long Island, we would go like, let's go to Hammerjacks, man. Hammerjacks is badass. And we'd take a ride down there 4 hours or whatever the hell it was, hang out and then drive all the way home again, It's just,
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Hell yeah. So you mentioned playing with Alice.
Yeah.
Obviously, I call him Alice. I don't know what not. No, I'm just playing. There he is with you right there.
Oh yeah. There's that same 57P bass too.
Right? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. So the funny story, when I was 12 years old, I met Alice Cooper at a hotel. And not what I was expecting. I was going to go see his show that night. And my buddy's mom worked at this hotel where he was staying. And I walk into the dining room, and he's sitting there like very proper with his legs crossed with a newspaper eating eggs Benedict. And I'm like, are you sure you're Alice Cooper?
Yeah.
How was life with Alice out on the road?
Alice is amazing, man. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you a story and then I'll show you what I got here. Alice, he was nothing but a blast to be around. He would love to play cards on the bus. We'd play poker all the time. And all the time I'd been with him. I'm not a great poker player, but I'm not a terrible poker player. So, and Alice is fantastic. He knows what he's doing. And he would kind of like always be the winner, pretty much. No matter what. Anyway, I've seen guys lose guitars to him.
Really?
Yeah. But me, I'd stay like $50 up, $50 down, $50 up, $50 down. That's kind of winning. When you're playing with Alice Cooper, that's a win, man. Because I'm getting to hang out with the guy and listen to the stories.
Right?
50 up, 50 down, 50 up, 50 down. It's all good. So this one tour, I think it was a 2001 tour. For some reason, the last week, all the cards were coming my way. And I ended up taking him personally for about $400.
Ooh.
Yeah. So now Alice goes to pawn shops almost every day. Like he likes to get out and wander around, check out the cities, and he goes to pawn shops because he likes to collect old watches. And if he'll find something old and cool, he'll buy it. So after I took him for that $400, he bought me a trophy. It's a marble base with a Miller can and a hand with a full house. It's right here.
Seriously, you've got it.
It's right here in my studio. Well, the top broke off, but there's the full house. There's the Miller can. There's the
nice.
So Alice bought that at a pawn shop for me, and I got to glue this back on.
Wow.
That's too cool,
man.
And
then he gave me the $400 he owed
me. Right. Like, cool for the gift, but you did hit an ATM, right? Right. Pay up. So I hear Alice is also a pretty exceptional golfer.
Yeah. He'd play all the time while we were out. I never got into golf. I think some of the newer guys in his band are into it, but I don't know, man. For me, at that time, especially that time in my life, I had to wake up way too early to freaking play golf.
Right.
Right.
I was like, I think I'm gonna sleep.
I hit balls. I don't call it golf though, bro.
Yeah.
I have no idea where they're going. I just hit something,
Right.
So, what they want to know, most surreal rock star moment on the road. Who was it with, and what was it?
Man, I don't know. Like probably the most surreal. I mean, it's always cool meeting people and stuff like that. Meeting Jimmy Page. I grew up a crazy, Led Zeppelin fan. But honestly, I think some of the most surreal stuff for me is actually being on stage with these guys, man. I mean, when I was playing with Rainbow, I'll never forget. There was one time, and it was on the American tour. We were playing Mistreated, the song Mistreated, an old Rainbow Deep Purple song.
Yeah. Right.
And Richie was just feeling it, man. And he was on his knees and he had that Strat rolling it against the monitors and shit like that. And I'm just looking at him and I'm up there laying it down and I'm going like, holy crap, And then I think to myself, I'm like, what series of events happened that he's there and I'm here? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I was a crazy Deep Purple fan, man. You know what I mean?
Same here.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I'd have those moments, and then you got to shake it off and go, I'm hired to do a job. I'm doing a job. I'll freak out later.
Right. Exactly.
Probably another like surreal moment was playing with Billy Joel, right? And day before that big gig at Madison Square Garden for the 12-12-12 concert, for Hurricane Sandy victims. The day before was the sound check. So, Billy's up on stage. We're at the Garden doing sound check, and I know Billy. I know all the guys in the band. They're my good friends, man. The guitar player's my daughter's godfather. We're close, man. So I'm just up there hanging with my friends. I didn't think much about like, oh fuck, it's the Garden. Who cares, man? I've played arenas before, And then I look out in the audience. There's Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend sitting in the first row.
Oh, holy!
I'm
Oh,
like, this is weird. I'm on stage in the garden, and they're in the audience.
oh, dude, that's surreal as all can be.
Uh,
Your composure, man. I mean, obviously you're a professional, but come on,
Oh
a
yeah, man.
little.
Like I said, dude. Like you know what? No matter what, man, what I've done or who I've played with and everything else, there's still the 15-year-old kid inside of me, man. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
know,
Right,
I mean, I grew up with
absolutely.
all these guys, man, and I'm still huge fans of them. You know, like even Ronnie Dio. Ronnie was a good friend of mine, but you know, before I ever met Ronnie, um, you know, being a big Deep Purple and Rainbow fan, you know, I mean, I was a 15-year-old kid with the albums, man, going, holy crap, man, Ronnie Dio, Jesus, you know, unreal. And so I'm playing with Alice at Sweden Rock Festival, and you know, we go to the hotel where everybody's hanging out at the bar, and there's Ronnie at the bar, right? And I'm with Eric Singer, right? And Eric goes, "Oh, you know Ronnie, right? There he is at the bar." I'm like, "No, I don't know Ronnie." He goes, "Oh, come on, let's go say hi to him." I was like, "No, I don't want to bother him. I don't want to bother him, you know." And he goes, "What? Are you crazy? Come on, let's go." So he brings me over, introducing me to Ronnie. And Ronnie's like, "Oh man, nice to finally meet you." And I'm like, "What? Like, you know who I am? Like, what? You know?" And you know, so we start talking and shit, and like it was like I knew the guy for 20 years. He was such a sweetheart, you know. And we start talking about Rich,
Wow.
trading rainbow stories and this and that, and road stories, and playing with Richie, and you know. Then after a while, Eric was like, "All right, well, I'm out of here," because you know, he and I, Ronnie and I, just hit it off, you know. And then the very next year, we're out with Alice. Then Dia was opening up for Alice, and then you know, then we just connected even more, and we hung out every day, and it was just you know. But yeah, man, you know, it was surreal, you know, getting to know him too, man. You know, a huge fan, and you know, I'm happy I got to know the guy. You know.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Oh, I do want to ask more about Richie Blackmore because Richie Blackmore is like, the guy for me growing up.
Yeah.
Richie Blackmore, I mean,
Hell yeah.
Machine Head. I would sit there and listen to the record over and over. And,
Yeah.
Blackmore, how did that come about? How did you meet and get in to play with Richie Blackmore?
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting. By the time I got to play with Richie, I'd already pretty much played with a lot of guys in his band. You know, Dave Rosenthal, Chuck Berge, Joe Turner. You know, so I
Okay.
heard all the Richie stories, man. I knew exactly how to deal with him. You know, and by the time he was putting together Rainbow, the drummer, John O'Reilly, they had been using somebody from Long Island that didn't quite work out, and John O'Reilly, who I'd been playing with in Joe Turner's band, recommended me. You know, and you know, he said to Rich, "Oh man, he's played with Alice Cooper and Blue Oyster Cult and all these other bands. He's a total professional." And you know, and that's all true. You know, obviously, you know, and Richie was like, "Raw, yeah, I think we'll give him a try." You know, so so I was playing at a club in Long Island, and uh, Doogie and John O'Reilly came early, and Doogie came up on stage with the band that I was playing with, and we started singing together. And
Cool.
I remember seeing, like, you know, there's a window. This purple Mercedes pulls up outside. It's Richie and Candy at the time, and you know, and he's listening, and you know, I could see he's just checking it out, and he sees me and Doogie harmonizing together and singing together, and then he parks. Instead of leaving, he parked and he came in.
Ah,
And it was like, all right, I got a chance, you know. And then
Badass.
so you know, we finish our set. You know, he's playing foosball, you know, and Doogie brings me over to meet him and say hello and everything like that. And at that time, I was brewing my own beer with a buddy of mine on Long Island, and
Okay.
I'd like to try some of my beer. He goes, "You brew your own beer?" I was like, "Yeah, would you like some? It's right here." And so I poured him some of my own home, and he liked that. He likes things that are out of the ordinary or weird. You know what I mean? So that to him was a little out of the ordinary, and you know, he liked it. He invited me to go up and jam with the band at a rented mansion that they had in the Hudson Valley, and you know, I went up there, jammed with them. We just did mostly blues. As a matter of fact, I have that recording of that on my computer, which is, you know, obviously, you know, um, it's pretty badass. Doogie sent it to me. Doogie had, you know, had a copy of it and sent it to me. But we just did mostly blues and really not much rainbow stuff. And at the end of the whole jam, he was like, right, if you want the job, you've got it. And then he left. And then
Right.
I'm like, what the hell just happened? I mean, do I have the gig? Am I in the band? What's going on? I don't, it was, I still didn't know for about 3 weeks whether I was in the band or not,
Wow.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Wow, brother. Wow. So Joseph P. Lane has a comment he wants you to hear. He says, I got into a fight when you played with Nugent at the fair in Tucson, Arizona. You flicked your guitar pick out and it landed in my nephew's beer, and some jackass stole it from him. Please read.
So he stuck his hand in his nephew's beer, took the pick out. Wow.
Right?
Do I owe him a pick or a beer?
Both.
He'd be happy with. Poor guy, man. Hope you didn't get your ass kicked, Joseph.
I'll be happy to replace both.
All right. Saintly man.
Wow.
I was a huge Zeppelin fan. Huge. Most of us were. And the fact that you got to play and be part of Page and that whole experience, man, I am so envious. So envious.
Well, I never played with Page. I met him a few times, but
right.
I never got to play with him.
But you got to watch him play, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to watch him play. I got to watch him play with Jaco Pastorius, believe it or not.
Wow.
Seriously.
Back in 1985, Jaco Pastorius had a steady Wednesday at a place called the Lone Star Cafe in New York City, and I was playing with Wendy Williams. A buddy of mine came in from Long Island, met me, and we went to go see Jaco, just specifically to see Jaco. And so I remember, looking up there going, wow, that drummer looks familiar, man. Bald dude, fuck, who is that guy? It looks familiar, And then I hear somebody, talking from upstairs, the balcony area. I look up, there's a dude with a funny haircut. I'm like, wow, he looks familiar too. I look up again and it's Jimmy. So it was Tony Franklin, because remember back then, Tony Franklin had a funny haircut. So it was the firm. The firm were playing at Madison Square Garden the next day.
Oh, wow.
They were in early at Jaco, and that was Chris Slade playing drums on stage.
Oh.
So now,
seriously.
Yeah. So now I'm like, oh fuck, this is cool. And dude, there was nobody there, man. The place was empty except for like us and them. So I say to my buddy, we're going upstairs. We're getting a table upstairs. So we go upstairs. We get a table next to Pagey. And Pagey gets up and goes to the bathroom. I go, okay, I'm timing this shit. 5, 4, 3, 2. I get up. I time it perfect. Just as I'm getting in, I'm like, oh, hi, Jimmy. What a coincidence, At that point, Wendy Williams, she just was nominated for a Grammy, and she was more popular in the UK than she was in the United States. So, I'm talking, hey, Jimmy, nice to meet you. I'm Greg Smith. I play with Wendy Williams. He was like, oh, right, very nice. I said, look, man, I'm sure you've heard this a million times in your life, but I'm a big fan. You've been a big influence, and your music has meant a whole lot to me. And he goes, oh, that's nice to hear. He goes, but no matter what you thought about me in the past, wait till you see me jam with Jaco. I don't know jazz from Arabic.
Really?
Yep. And then certainly, he went up and jammed with Jaco, but they were doing mostly blues stuff. And it was spectacular, man. It was happened to be there, the right place at the right time,
Incredible. I couldn't imagine sitting there.
And then I met him, when I was with Alice. I met him when Jason had a band called Motherland. Remember that?
Right.
And they were playing at the Hammersmith Odeon, and I was there with I think I was hanging out with Lemmy and Chuck Berge, and that was, I barely remember that. At least.
Right. That's incredible, my brother. So, Billy Joel, how did that come about to be part of the musical Moving Out? I see the poster right there behind you.
Oh, yeah. That was, and that's from Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah, so it did Broadway in Chicago for 5 years. Is that correct?
4.5. Yeah. Yep.
Nice, brother. How did that come to play?
Well, I actually left Alice's band to do that, and back in 2002. Well, like I mentioned, my close friend is Billy Joel's guitarist and musical director, and he called me. He goes, "Hey, Billy's putting together this thing with this choreographer." He goes, "I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe we'll get 6 months of work out of it. It'll be really cool, though." I went, "Hell yeah, man, I'm in." So, and that was that. But the 6 months that we thought would happen ended up being 4.5 years.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. And what was great about it is like the freedom to do whatever I wanted. I mean, and Joel Hoekstra had a similar thing when he did Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd go off and do the gigs, with whatever band he wanted at that point, and then still
Right.
do on Broadway. You know what I mean? And it was
Right.
like I was touring with Dokken, when I was doing the Billy Joel thing on Broadway. So
Wow.
that was nice, because you'd always have something to come home to.
Well,
And
how did that work?
I was my own boss too. So basically, like on a summer day, I live in Pennsylvania, man. I got a nice property here. I'm in my barn right now. It's my studio. And I got a
Cool.
creek going out front and mountain views and shit. And it's just, on a nice summer day, I go, I ain't going to the city. Screw that, man. And I'd call one of my guys up. I had about like 6 different guys that I could call who lived in the city. And of course I wouldn't get paid for that day, but still, it was like, it's an easy trade-off, man. You got a beautiful day hanging out, build a fire, have a barbecue, open a bottle of wine, hang out with your wife and kid, so
Yeah.
it was
Hell
a nice
yeah.
Cool.
nice time.
When did you play with Don? When was that?
That was in 2003 and then again in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because John's been
Badass,
with him
brother.
quite a while now. John's been with him,
Now-
what, about coming up on 20 years probably.
John, yeah. Well, John is the one who got me involved with Dokken to begin with, because we he and I had a band together in the 80s in Long Island,
Well-
and it was really funny. It was our original band, and we only did 2 covers. The 2 covers we did were 2 Dokken songs, and then
Huh.
it was really funny when we were both playing in Dokken for the first time, and we're on stage in front of big crowd. We're looking at each other and like, how weird is this?
Yeah.
Covers given Dokken, and here we are playing in Dokken.
What was the name of the band you guys had together?
It was called Devious.
Devious. That's badass.
Yeah.
What's the poster right next to the moving out poster? Jennifer Berner wants to know. One on the right there.
That one?
Yes, sir.
That's from in Russia. Like in Russia, it was kind of like the NAMM show, but in Russia. The NAMM show, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was the Russian version of the NAMM show, and I was doing that. Actually translates to masterclass. So I was doing a masterclass. And,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Bobby Rondinelli was on it too, and Bobby was like, he's like, Bobby's got that nice Long Island accent. He's like, we should see if we should get those freaking posters. Those are cool posters. So we ended up getting the posters, and there it is hanging in my,
Hell yeah.
We should see if we get those posters.
Hey, Dave Harden wants to know if you were ever able to outdrink Wild Mick.
That would be a negative. We
Negative.
had a lot of fun together. We had a lot of fun together. I love him dearly. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. I probably have laughed more with him than anybody else. I miss him. But no, there's no way I could ever outdrink that guy.
Yeah.
But,
Put him down.
The first time I met Mick, I remember it was like that 2003 tour with Dokken, and I remember getting to the rehearsal studio early, and I was trying to get a sound out of this old beaten up Ampeg SVT that I was going to end up using for the whole tour. And I'm like, oh crap, man, I'm almost there. I'm like kind of turning knobs. I hear Mick talking to John, and I'm like, I really want to say hi to this guy and meet him, but I'm almost there. I'm almost ding. And then just as like, he finishes talking to John, I see a hand come over my head and a cold beer slams on top of the amp. And I go, oh, we're going to get along really well.
We're like this.
Yeah. And then, you know what? On that very tour, we were on a bus between California and Arizona, and it was my 40th birthday,
Nice.
And once Mick, I just met him, Mick found out it was my 40th birthday. He looked at me, and he went up to the front, and he made the bus driver pull over to a Walmart, and he bought me a cake.
Oh, what?
Really?
A cake. A cake for my birthday.
I thought you said a keg. I'm going, he bought you a keg?
That would be
Oh.
Yeah, but no, he bought me a cake for my birthday, and
oh, cool.
Cool. Just the kind of guy he is, man. He's such a big heart. He's a great dude, man.
That's badass. Sarah McNamara says that mixed blood level was 75% Jim Beam and Coke.
Oh yeah, he never lets his blood interfere with his alcohol.
Right?
Yeah, you know which one's important. Come on. All right, so let's talk about Tokyo, man, and let's get out what you're working on today. Where can people find what you are currently working on right now?
Well, let's see. Well, obviously the Tokyo Motor Fest is probably the most current. There's something else that I'm working on that I don't think I'm allowed to really say yet. It's it's for Frontiers. That's about probably all I can say. And it's got some amazing players on it, and just sort of like really finalizing everything with that. But hopefully, we get the all clear to say something soon. But that's going to be pretty badass. I think people will really dig that. Some people, but of course, with COVID, man, it's kind of tough. The Ted Nugent tour got shut down again this year.
Right.
Oh, this whole year is gone for you guys?
For Nugent, yeah.
Wow.
Why?
Yeah, it totally stinks. There's the Tokyo Motor Fest gig, obviously, that I'm in June. There's other stuff that I do just to keep busy too. I mean, some
the Rock
tribute
Renaissance
with, you know what I mean? There's a Journey tribute band that I play with. I'm actually going to be in Palm Springs at a casino with a band called Voyage, Journey tribute band with a guy named Hugo. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. The guy looks and sounds just like Steve Perry.
Out of Phoenix, right? Out of Phoenix?
Out of Long Island.
Out of Long Island. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I've known him.
There's one out of Phoenix. The guy looks a lot like Steve Perry. I mean, a lot like him.
This guy is. It's kind of bizarre. I'll pull up a picture really quick because it's when I first met the guy like nearly 40 years ago, it was like, dude, you look like Steve Perry. It's like everybody says that, So years later, he decided to do something about it, and well,
you did. You did the Rock Renaissance Orchestra as well.
Oh yeah. Renaissance Rock Orchestra, of course.
Yeah, Renaissance Rock Orchestra. Yeah.
I mean, that's been absolutely badass. I've known Greg Fox for quite some time, and a good friend of mine, Mikey Bones, was the bass player, and
yeah, Mikey.
He'd passed,
Yeah, and, I know.
And we know each other from Long Island, and it's I was very happy that Greg asked me to be part of it because I actually his widow Tracy gave me his bass, one of his basses, music band favorite bass, and I used that bass pretty much exclusively on the whole album.
Oh, cool.
And
cool.
The music is amazing, man. It's just so much. It was so much fun to play and to record, and Mark Bowles and Greg and man, everybody on the album just really absolutely killed it.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Very, very happy to be part of that.
And Brett Kaiser too, then, right? Because Brett played with Mikey for years.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Brett was in the thread earlier. I saw.
All from Long Island.
Yeah.
That's how we know each other from the old days playing in those clubs.
Cool.
Yeah, it's funny, Brett. you guys know Brett, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember like Brett back in 1981 or 1980 or something like that. We met at the McDonald's in Huntington. He was in a band called Cheetah, and their bass player kind of left him high and dry and stuff like that. And he was asking me if I could do a bunch of gigs with him. So him and his brother Bruce, and we met to talk about stuff. And and so we came up, agreement. It was like talk about schedule and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, it's going to be great, man. It'll be a lot of fun. And so just as I'm leaving, I hear a knock on the window, and there's Bruce and Brett with their asses pressed to the freaking window. Families around and stuff like that. And,
right. That's why you got sick of pennies a lot. But hey, look at the corner of the screen right there.
Hey, is that Brett?
That's Brett right there.
Yeah, there's Brett.
What's up, bud? Love you, brother. Hey,
we would ask him to put his ass to the corner of the screen, but we better not.
Put it up there, Brett. Come on, buddy. Man, brother.
That was a blast, man. That
James Hyde's in the crowd, too.
And then
yeah.
It wasn't too much longer than that Brett and Bruce left. Anyway, I don't know if you can see this, but this is Hugo and
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They got the same schnoz.
Wow. That's not a schnoz you duplicate either, brother.
No. One's Portuguese, one's Italian.
Wow. How cool is that,
it's
though?
the Mediterranean schnoz, I guess.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, my brother, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank Greg Fox enough for putting this together for us tonight and helping make these waves. I definitely want to stay in touch with you, my friend. Like I said, we're putting some shows together here in Texas. Texas is actually taking the handcuffs off everybody. There's nothing, no social distancing, no mask.
And that's amazing. Things are getting crazy, around the world, and Texas and Florida. I've been doing a lot of stuff down in Florida too. They're opened up, and I can't wait to get back down to Texas again, man. I love Texas.
Well, let's do it, man. We'll
Matter
have
of
it.
fact, if things get too crazy, I might be shipping my long guns to Texas for Ted to hold on to them.
Right? You might not get them back from Ted, though, brother. All right, my brother.
Extra ones.
Right? Yeah, like he has enough.
Yep.
So I appreciate you, my friend. Let's stay in touch for sure. Maybe we can put something together with you guys.
Yeah, it'll probably be another year because Ted's not doing this year, unfortunately. But hey, there's always next year,
Yep. And,
well, there's Tokyo Motor Fest too.
Tokyo Motor Fest, and who knows? Hopefully, even in Renaissance Rock Orchestra, I'd love to play that stuff live, man. I mean, it was such a blast recording. I mean, I really had such fun recording that stuff, man. And it would be amazing to recreate that live. And my God, Mark Bowles, what a freaking voice that guy's got, huh?
Yeah. I know, right? Right? If that doesn't scream rock and roll, I don't know what does.
Oh my
brother.
God! I tell you what, and I sing myself, but if I had his voice, I'd burn mine.
Right. Well, let's talk. I'm going to talk to Greg Fox, see if we can't make that happen, man. We'll come down here and have some fun in West Texas.
That sounds great to me, man.
All right, my brother.
All
Greg
right,
Smith. Thank you, guy. I appreciate you, my brother.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
Oh, sorry, Greg. Wow.
That was killer, man. We could talk to him for another hour.
Dude, he is like the coolest freaking dude ever, man. I was enjoying that thoroughly.
Yeah.
So,
easily
man.
Talk another hour.
Oh, easily. We got to have him back on. What we need to do is, Drake, stop moving. We can hear the scratching you're doing. I'm not scratching.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, your earbuds are loud.
All right. Sorry.
There you go. Frozen.
Close it up, Robby.
Close it up. Oh, you want me to do it? So anyhow, let's thank our sponsors. So I'm going to go with Dope Panels and Blue Collar Cables and Backbeat Music and Jody. And next week we've got, who do we got next week?
Next week we got Hayden. And Hayden is a badass guitarist playing with the likes of George Strait and Rick Trevino. So he's going to be great. And
And then
he's also playing
the following week, we got the Highlander, Adrian
with
Paul.
the Highlander himself. So thank you, James Hyde, for coming in tonight. Greg
Hey,
Fox, all of our friends and family out there. We love each and every one of you. And it's that time. We got to go. It's been a hangout. And we love you till next